Whoa, 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 whoa. Guess who finally called the program on the Harbor One hotline?
Who would that be?
Huh?
Who would that be?
Ninkovich.
Oh, okay.
So am I putting him on?
I would say before you put him on, we need to hesitate because he owes us dinner and drinks now.
Well, you did say that earlier because you said he's blown us off 3 times.
Well, he's blown us off twice. This is a late blow off. So we got him, but it's late.
Rob Ninkovich, good morning.
Hello, everyone. I am very sorry for my delay in the morning of children, taking them to school, all the things, wife yelling at me, clean the dishes, do your job. I made a mistake and I forgot to call in. So that is my mistake.
One of the best things I think about having kids is you can use them as an excuse when you don't want to do something.
100%. I do it all the time.
But Wiggy said earlier, you owe us dinner and drinks.
What would that be for? The dinner and drinks?
That would be for the first one was the Ty Law 24 Blaine's Bowling.
Yeah.
The expectations. We're all excited to see you on that one. We didn't get you there. Then it was the Toys for Todd, Ernie Box.
Yeah.
Very excited. All right, we finally get to see Nico there. And we didn't get that. And then obviously you're a little bit late. The only time we really get to see you is either ESPN or the Dan and Nico show. So now I feel like, well, you know
Which
what?
we like.
Which we do like.
We like.
But we need some dinner and drinks.
Yeah, I would love to do that. I apologize for the toys, that situation. I was at work, actually.
No, I understand.
I was in New York City. I didn't realize it was in the morning, which that's also an issue. I made a mistake as well. So I make a lot of mistakes in my life, but I will just be a brave man and say that I have made mistakes, and I do owe you a drink. Wiggy, I will buy you multiple drinks. We should go do that sometime.
All right. See?
Sometime. You know what I'll do is maybe we'll bring I'll get the dinner. I'll get somebody to throw a little dinner like Davio's. I'm sure Steve will throw a little dinner, and we'll bring a couple listeners or something. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that.
All right. So let's
see. Now it's all forgiven.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, everything's fine now.
Okay, now let's do the menu and then we'll wrap.
Some of these people.
We're through the appetizers. Let's go main course. What we got?
Listen, these people early in the Twitch chat, they wanted me to start calling you Dinkovich for blowing us off.
Well, I've had Dinkovich, Stinko,
Stinko,
Ninko, all the crazy stuff. Smelovich, I've had it all.
I'm going to call him Drinko.
Drinko. That's a good one. All right. So listen, lots of things to get into here. Chris Sims has this report, if you want to call it that Mac Jones upset Bill Belichick. Rift began when he started calling around the NFL. Perhaps it was Josh McDaniels. I don't know whom. Asking for help this season. Is that something that you see happening? And if so, how upset would Bill be about that?
Chris Sims, listen, I think at one point Chris Sims said that you wouldn't surprise him if Tom Brady retired mid-season.
Yes.
So that's enough right there for you to just say, oh, okay. I also believe that he tried to work for the Patriots for about 6 months and that didn't work out. But anyway, I think there might be a little issue there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to this year and Mac Jones and the offense and the things that we saw, clearly there was many issues. I think the biggest issue that they had this season was the protections and how they changed their whole protection scheme. That is key to a quarterback as far as confidence. When you're getting hit a lot, and Mac Jones, he started out the year, he had a high ankle sprain, then he went through the Zappy stuff because he got thrown by Calais Campbell, the defensive end for the Ravens. He got hit a lot this year. He got destroyed, basically. So I think their biggest issue is their offensive line and their protection system. They mess with that, and it really messed things up because in the past, they had a number system, which Wiggy knows the number system. They also had more running back and tight end protection system where they stayed in and they helped out and they chipped. They didn't do much of that this year, and you saw it clearly that there were a lot of protection issues. You saw it in the Buffalo game when they destroyed Mac on a couple plays there. So I think there's a lot of issues, first and foremost, starting with the protection. They try to do something different this year, and nobody was on the same page. And anything in defense, even anything in football, defensively, offensively, it all comes down to everyone understanding what they have to do in every single play. And there was a lot of breakdowns in many different aspects of this Patriot team. So, again, it was a failed season. Like, this was a failed season. And the funny thing is, in the past, like, when we would be, I guess, in the hunt and we would be playing for division titles, we didn't even care about if we didn't win a division, it was a failed. If we didn't get to a Super Bowl, it was a failed season. They haven't won their division, and they haven't even looked close to it. So what do they do moving forward? They got to make a lot of changes. That's, and I don't know where to start.
Well, Wiggy wants that change to be a quarterback.
I don't think that would be a thing that instantly fixes this team, their quarterback play. Because, if you look at Mac Jones, of course, he played worse than he did in his rookie season. But there's a lot of other factors that go into that. Number one, I said their protection system and protecting your quarterback. What did Tom Brady look like when he was under pressure? Not good. So the last game of the year, he looked better than we've seen him all season. But I don't think that moving on from him is going to fix the problems that you have. It starts fundamentally. It starts with the scheme. It starts with, the mentality as a team that they have right now. And they clearly don't have what they had in the past.
Do you think, we talked about this yesterday and have at times throughout the season, do you think that Bill is unable to coach today's player? They don't relate to Bill. Bill's a hardo.
I mean, I think that I feel like an old man right now saying that it's hard for me to relate to younger people right now. I'm 38 years old. I'm going to be 39 years old. And my nephew was here a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking at this kid like, this is what you do? Like, this is what you 20-year-olds do? It's wild. So, I mean, I think that there could be some aspects of the game that have changed that Bill is going to have a hard time understanding. Number one, I mean, you look at these kids in college now, they're their own marketing team. Each individual player is marketing themselves to try and maximize their earning potential, which granted, yeah, you should try and make money, but the whole, like, do it for the team and do your job for your team aspect of football, I think that's changing, and it starts in college where these kids are making multiple, six-figure contracts and six-figure things with this new NIL deal. It starts to even pull you farther away from doing what's right for the team. And I think that could be an issue, not only for Bill, but for everyone trying to coach at a high level and trying to get a team to come together when everyone's in it for themselves.
See, Rob, you just said something, and as a lifelong Pats fan and as a guy who played for the organization, the thing that you just said that stands out to me is this team or this organization being an organization that it's about getting to Super Bowls. So I sit here and I look and I ask the question, if you put a good offensive coaching staff around Mac Jones,
a good offensive line, or at
a
least
good offensive
one
line
that's using the system that they used.
Yes,
last
all
season.
of those things. I just don't feel like he is the guy that can elevate you to that point of being a real contender. I look at his play on the field, and I think he's a solid player, but solid ain't going to get you to the Super Bowl. Well,
I mean, Wiggy, I disagree in some aspects, because if you look at some teams right now, for example, the 49ers, they're built on defense. They have a great defense. You talk about coaching and scheme. They have great coaching. They have great scheme. They have good players offensively. They don't have an elite quarterback. They got Mr. Irrelevant right now. He's playing well because he's in a great scheme, surrounded by quality football players, and all you have to do is manage. You don't have to be Superman. You have to manage the situations, put the ball in the right people's hands, and let your defense do their job. You look at the Patriots this year, their defense was second overall in the NFL. They have a great defense, and with the young guys that they have in the secondary and their draft, what they've done, they're going to be better next year. They're going to be a better football team. Their pass rush is going to be better. Their coverage is going to be better. So if you can help the scheme here and you can shore up the offensive line, get a piece or two offensively, because we know Stevenson's a beast. We got a running back, got a couple running backs, maybe one receiver, something a little bit more dynamic as far as a big play guy. And you can, and you get a quarterback like Mac, who's smart, understands situations, can manage and get the ball in the right people's hands. I think they can do something, but it starts with scheme.
Nink, I just am fascinated by next season and how we got here. So I think the roster was better this season than it was the year before, but the record was worse. And I think that the drafting's been much better. How can this organization, led by Bill, understand and make the necessary changes when it comes to the scheme without being too proud or without allowing their ego to get in the way? Because if they fix that, this team should be a playoff team next year and they should be ascending.
I mean, yes, I agree. And you look at this season, there's a few games that they could have potentially won. And if they would have won those games, they would be in the playoffs. And I'm not saying that this team is a Super Bowl team by any means. We saw their offense. It was painful to watch at times. It's like watching paint dry. But I think that in especially now in 2023, we just need to look at ourselves in the mirror and be real with ourselves and stop acting like, what we've done is going to help us moving forward. Like, everything in the past is in the past, and you're seeing that the league has changed. I mean, even since I've been out, everything has changed with, offense. Linebackers now look like safeties. Everything's speed oriented. It's a completely different game. And you have to adjust and you have to change with it. So, it's not going to work anymore back when they won their last Super Bowl, where they were like, okay, we'll just go old school. We'll pound the football. Like, you got to spread the offense out. You got to be creative. And there's a reason why the most dynamic offenses, they come up with these gadget trick plays, cool plays, and even think back to when the Patriots were great. The double pass, Amendola to Julian, the tight end over that we did against, I think it was the Ravens, where we were just beating them over the head with it and they couldn't figure it out. Like, you just have to come up with innovative stuff. And offensively, they just were simple. And it's weird to see a Patriot offense simple, and they didn't do much pushing the football down the field. Now, is that personnel? Is that fear of turning the ball over? Those things, maybe they were trying to be cautious and protect the football, but you have to throw the football down the field. If it's 3rd and 10, you got to throw it 11 yards. You can't just check it down, and live to play another. You got to throw the football. And I think Mac Jones, we've seen his accuracy. He can be accurate. We've seen Mac Jones make tight throws, tight windows, and he did great things his rookie season. So it would be a disservice to Mac Jones to not attempt to change the offensive system.
Who should be the coordinator or play caller on this football team next season?
Man, I don't know the correct answer to that one. There's a reason why offensive coordinators are gurus. Like, there's a reason why they've been doing it their whole lives. And, the best ones they're almost like crazy about it and coming up, look at the McVays, those type of guys, the young guys, those guys are the people that are going to help you move forward. I think it was a really tough ask for Matty to come in and try and be an offensive coordinator with, I understand he knows football. Like, if you're a coach in the NFL, you know football. If you've done it a long time, yes, you know it. But it takes a certain style of coach to be an offensive guy, just a strictly on offensive guy. So I think moving forward, they need to find us just an offensive guy. And if Billy O came back, I know he's an offensive guy. The guy's done great things. So that would help. But I don't know, the circumstances of what coaches' contracts are, what they're willing to spend on coaches, because if you're a great OC, you get paid a lot of money.
All right, and who do you like getting through and making their way to Phoenix?
I'd like to see Buffalo get there, obviously, just because it's Buffalo and they've had, the history of Buffalo and not winning Super Bowls. I'd like to see them at least get there. It'd be great for their fan base. They've been through with, the last couple of weeks there. But I would like to see Buffalo, and who would I like to see? The Eagles, Buffalo Eagles.
I have a question for Rob. You and Wiggy know Bill better than we do. And when you hear him get asked point blank, is Mac going to be the starting quarterback next season? And he gives kind of a non-answer. He says, he has the ability to play quarterback in this league, but we all have to work together. Do you read into that at all, or is that just Bill not giving the media anything?
I think it's more Bill not wanting to give the media anything to run with. And we know at this point the way that Bill conducts his interviews, he doesn't want to give too much, or he does. And in this instance, I feel like he didn't give much on Mac Jones. He didn't give much except for they didn't spend a lot, which I don't know how to take that one. But at the end of the day, Bill's interviews are tactical in the way that he does things. Bill's smart. He understands what he's putting out there. He doesn't want to be over the top with certain praise. He doesn't want to be, throwing people under the bus, but maybe he does. So I think that everything that he does is thought out, and just the way Bill is. We've seen it year in and year out.
But giving that answer almost gives the media more to speculate on.
Yeah, and I think that could possibly be something that he wants,
Yeah.
Speculate on the quarterback position, speculate on who the coaching carousel position, who's going to be our next coach, speculate on everything. And while you're speculating and doing that, I'm figuring things out. So I think that's all in play.
All right, Drinko.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for
Thanks for
getting on.
I think Drinko works.
You like Drinko?
Yeah.
All right.
Drinko? Perfect.
All right. We'll set a little night up with a couple listeners and Wiggy. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to tape the Dan and Ninko show, so we'll have to listen to Dan be so one-sided that it makes you want to throw up.
All right. That is Rob Ninkovich.